All right, y'all. What's up, football family and friends? It is time for another edition of Coach E's Film Room. Now, we got the Cleveland Browns going against the Minnesota Vikings. This was a tough loss right here, y'all. Got a couple plays I want to run through, give y'all the rundown on it, let y'all know what happened, let y'all know what I see. Hopefully, you see the same thing on this game, learning from previous games that I've done before. So, let's start this off right here. It's the first quarter, 39 seconds left, first and 10. You got the Browns with the ball, I formation. Got Quinshawn Junkins right here. You got Harold Fannin, the tight end, as the fullback right here. One receiver up at the top. Two tight ends over there. So we are going to pound the ball right up the middle. And Quinshawn, like I've been telling y'all for the last 2 weeks, great running back, great rookie. Expect a lot of things from him. A lot of plays like this, to be exact. So let's see what happens and let's see what we get. Ball is snapped. Hands off to hands off to Quinshawn, breaks a long run. I'm talking about, I didn't know he had that breakaway speed like that. He clearly proved it wrong. But of course, see, we got a flag on the play, as you can see from his reaction. Let's go ahead and see what happens with this flag. Clearly it's holding. Looks like on the left side of the line, they collapsed it down, ended up holding it either defensive end or the defensive tackle. But either way it goes, big play that got wiped out. Should be 14-7 after this play right here. Clearly holding on the offense. Number 60. 2 holding penalties on this play. Something we don't need. We lead the league in these penalties like this, so we have to clean this up to get better. So clearly we have right there holding on the tight end. He is preventing this defender from trying to get off and make a play on the run right there. That's a big no-no. So that big, huge run that we had, totally wiped out. Totally wiped out. Quinshawn made a big play and was ready for things to go his way, but you know how that happens. Wipe it off. Still 7-7 tie at the end of the first quarter. Should have had that big score right there. All right, we got the third quarter, 14-11 left, 3rd and 7. We have Denzel up at the top of the screen, guarding Addison. Looks like he's in one-on-one press coverage right there, as well as number 26, the third corner. I forget his name. He's in press coverage right here. You also have Greg Newsome checking Jefferson at the bottom of the screen right here. Now, that is a matchup that I don't like whatsoever because Greg Newsome is not a good outside man corner, and Jefferson is perhaps, maybe, possibly the best receiver in the league. So my only thing is I wish Schwartz would allow Denzel to travel with the best receiver and not leave Greg Newsome alone with him like that. But that's how it is, and that's what we got to try to work with. But Jefferson exposes Newsome on this coverage and ends up getting the pass interference flag and gets the big gain. So let's see how he does it. Ball is snapped. Newsome gives up the outside. If you see the outside release, Jefferson came down and went up outside the sideline. You're supposed to cut that off. Let that inside be a good technique there. So let's see. Holding him the whole time down the field, especially right there in front of the ref. Flag comes in. Horrible call. He debates it, but it's clear as day. He should have not grabbed that jersey. If he wouldn't have grabbed it, it would have been open right there. But like I said, Greg Newsome is not a good one-on-one defender on the perimeter. He's more of a slot one-on-one guy in man coverage, but definitely not against the best receiver in the league. He's severely outmatched in that battle, and he just exposed him pretty good right there in that route. All right, we got the Browns here in the red zone, 2nd and goal. You have Bond out here at the bottom of the screen. You got Njoku right here in the slot position. You can see he's a mismatch for this little DB right here. This is why you always try and get your bigger tight end inside to try and draw that nickel corner or that other guy, that safety, to come down. You can use your size and your speed and your athleticism to, as in boxing out like a basketball play, how you turn around and box a guy out for the rebound. All he has to do is run in that slot right here, this open area, get him on his back. He'll be wide open inside the end zone. That's exactly what they do. He uses his athleticism and body real well one of the best routes that Njoku runs. And Dylan Gabriel actually throws a rocket right there so Njoku can catch the ball right in the area right there. This is textbook route by a tight end against a nickel corner. Let's see how he does it. He gets a release on him. He tries to jam him. And if you look, it's three people right there, but he already beat his initial defender. The safeties are too late to help. Used him, got him on the back, beat him in the middle, touchdown on a great post route by a tight end. Like I said, it has to be an absolute rope from that throw from the quarterback to fit it inside that window right there. Good throw by Dylan Gabriel. That's a really thing. He showed his arm right there on that play. He zipped it in there. No batted ball, just straight on the numbers of Njoku. Got it in there for the touchdown. Great play. Great play. I expect more out of that since Dylan Gabriel's in the lineup and in the game right now. All right, we got Myles Garrett here. This shows you why he is so dynamic and he's so respected and he's such a great player. He has to go through so much just to get a sack or a tackle for loss or just to make a play, period. He finds a way to fight through whatever they try and put in front of him to make a very game-changing play. So he comes off the line right here. It's at least two or three people that's trying to prevent him to get to the quarterback. The quarterback gets flushed out of the pocket, thinks he has some room to run so he can look down the field and potentially dump off a pass. But watch Myles Garrett's closing speed and what he has to go through just to get to the other side of the field, just to chase the quarterback down. One of the hardest working plays right here. Hardest working guy in the league. He shows it with his speed, his technique, his effort. His motor is just crazy, mixed with his athleticism. Makes him pretty much unblockable. So you see his get off already. He's off the ball. His angle is pointing forward, so he's already coming off really explosive. Let's see what goes on. Runs by that off tight end, runs by that offensive tackle, chases the quarterback down, prevents him from getting a big play down the field. Although it's not a sack, as you can see, he tried to rip that arm down and get that fumble to see if he can get a forced fumble and a sack fumble at the same time. But hell of a play by Myles Garrett. This is the thing he has to go through every single game just to make an impact play, and he still does it consistently year after year. That's just the greatness of Myles Garrett right there. All right, we got Browns 17, Vikings 14, 32 seconds left. They're on the 13-yard line going in, potential game-winning touchdown here. We have a kind of a close, not bunch, but just close receiver set. Jefferson up top, Addison here. I'm sorry, Jefferson up top, another receiver here. Addison on the outside next to this tight end with the running back here for extra protection for the quarterback so he's able to get the ball out. Me personally, I think the Browns should have blitzed right here just to get some pressure on Wentz to force him to do something that he didn't want to do. But it looks like we're in some kind of cover two right here. It could be two at the bottom of the screen and three at the top of the screen. Seeing how far that corner is up top of the screen right here. Playing off of that receiver, so that gives a kind of a cover three look with those three safeties up top. But this safety back here is the one that's supposed to have Denzel's help right here. So Denzel's job is to force this receiver inside to the safety for help. But Denzel makes a critical mistake. He lets the receiver release outside and goes kind of up the sideline, and the safety it makes it harder for the safety to get over there to prevent that pass. So Denzel's job is to force him inside, but he gives him the outside release, and that's a no-no in cover two. So let's see what happens. As you can see, the receiver releases outside of Denzel. Safety can't get over in time. Game-winning touchdown right there. Big screw up right there by Denzel. When I first saw it, I thought Denzel played it right, but then seeing it again, the outside release of the receiver is something that you never want in a cover two coverage like that, especially at the bottom of the field side. Just gives that safety a hard enough job to get over top and try and make another play on it. So Denzel knows he has to be better. He admitted to doing it and just got to fix it up for the next opportunity that ever comes like that. And plus, like I said, I think we should have sent some kind of pressure to get Wentz to do something that he didn't want to do with the ball. But you got to tip the hat to the Vikings. They came out with the win over in London. So now next week, the Browns will be in Pittsburgh trying to get another win. Hopefully they do. And that is when I will see you again. Thanks for tuning in to this film room with Coach E, and I will see you next week.